Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Rusty right here on YouTube and Facebook. And I come to you today once again with some sad news. And when I start these videos, it seems like I always say that. And I say that time and time again. And I am a man of God in terms of I do believe in God. I'm not like Jim Cornette. I mean, I appreciate Jim Cornette for his wrestling ability and all his knowledge of wrestling, but I do disagree with him on whether there's a God or not. There is a God, whether Jim Cornette believes that or not, but that's not why I'm here today. Why I'm here today is to come to you with some sad news. On February the 5th, 2021, as many of you might know, but for those of you that don't know, Hacksaw Butch Reed, who debuted in the professional wrestling business in 1978, passed away at the age of 66 due to heart complications. I know a few days ago he had 2 heart attacks, and somebody said he was doing good, but still in critical condition at the time. So I thought maybe he would pull through this, but apparently he did not. As I said, Butch Reed debuted in 1978 at a time when pretty much there might have been Tony Atlas. And before Tony Atlas, there was Bobo Brazil as far as black wrestlers go. And I'm sure you can go back further than Bobo Brazil. But my point is that there wasn't many black wrestlers. And even the ones that were in the wrestling business were called nigger, coon, um, and many other things because they were in the wrestling business. And Tully Blanchard once said regarding Wahoo McDaniel, who was not black but was an Indian, he said Wahoo McDaniel could go and get over, meaning he could become a star. For those of you that don't know wrestling terminology about getting over, that he could go and get over in any territory or any company that Wahoo McDaniel worked for. Well, if you apply that same theory to Hacksaw Butch Reed, I think the same thing could be said for Butch Reed. Butch Reed got over in every territory he ever worked in, most notably in Bill Watts's Mid-South, which later became UWF, had a Louisiana base, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, in regards to Mid-South. And then when it became UWF, it went basically all over the United States until being sold in 1987 to my home territory, Jim Crockett Promotions. And we'll have to do a video about that and what led to the sale of the UWF and the purchase by Jim Crockett Promotions at a later date. But for today's purposes, this video is sending out condolences to the friends and family and fans of Hacksaw Butch Reed. Just a quick recap. Not only did Butch Reed work in Mid-South, he worked in Florida, had many great matches. He also worked on top in the UWF, which was Mid-South and then later became UWF. He worked on top in NWA, National Wrestling Alliance. He worked on top in WCW as half of the tag team Doom with Ron Simmons. They first started out under a mask, both of them, as the tag team Doom. That's not how they got started in the business. But when they started tagging up, WCW put them under a mask, which was a terrible idea, and they still got over. Both Ron Simmons, who was also black, and Butch Reed. Their manager, Teddy Long, former referee Teddy Long, was a good manager at that point. So Butch Reed's contributions to the wrestling business are many, too many for me to mention here. And I'm always confused by some people who say, well, he was a good black wrestler. Well, let's talk about the term black for a minute, if you will. Whether you're a good wrestler or not, I don't give a damn if you're black, white, or purple. You're a good wrestler. Contrary to that, if you suck because you suck, not because you're black, white, or purple. And that's true with any industry, not just professional wrestling. So having said that, I don't want to hear anybody say Hacksaw Butch Reed was a good black wrestler. Damn it, Hacksaw Butch Reed was a legend in the wrestling business, and not because of him being black. He would have been a good wrestler had he been white. So my condolences go out to his friends, family, and his fans on the death of Hacksaw Butch Reed. He had 2 massive heart attacks a couple of days ago. And from what I can gather doing my research on the internet and from Brian Alvarez of Figure 4 Online and WrestlingObserverLive.com, who did a story on this, he just couldn't recover from the complications that existed from having 2 heart attacks. And when I do these kind of videos recently, I remember doing one on other people. I can't remember who at the moment, even though I just said I remember, but I don't. Killer Tim Brooks was one, I think, and Bob Armstrong was another one. I can't remember the third one I did. Ivan Koloff was another one. Paul Jones. I don't think I did one on Paul Jones. I'm not sure. But my point is, all of these things have been happening too quickly in 2020 and 2021. Tracy Smothers and now Butch Reed. And I know people who say, well, God's got a plan, and I know God's got a plan. I told you earlier in the video, I'm a man of faith. But that being said, regardless of what God's plan was, it seems like he's taking all these former professional wrestlers way too quick and way too soon. So just to wrap this up, pro wrestling legend Hacksaw Butch Reed dies at the age of 66 due to heart complications on February 5th, 2021. Thank you, everybody, for listening to another edition of Wrestling with Rusty right here on YouTube and Facebook. And hopefully the next video I bring you will be something positive. Rest in peace, Hacksaw Butch Reed. You will be gone, but you'll never be forgotten by any true pro wrestling fan like myself and many others. And thank you for the thousands of hours and the many years of entertainment that you brought me through television. And I remember, I think, seeing you wrestle in person too. But I'm not sure. My memory fades on a lot of this stuff because I've seen so many wrestling matches over the years. But thank you for what you did for the wrestling business. You were a trendsetter, and not because you were black. You were a trendsetter because you were a damn good wrestler, period, black or not. So rest in peace, Hacksaw Butch Reed. Go be with God, my brother. Say hello up there in heaven to Uncle Ivan Koloff, Klondike Bill, Dickie Murdoch, Owen Hart, and many, many others. That Sonny Fargo, many, many others who have gone before you. But again, just repeating as we close this out, rest in peace, former professional wrestler Hacksaw Butch Reed, dead at the age of 66. Until we meet again, friends, this has been Wrestling with Rusty right here on YouTube and Facebook. We'll see you next time. Until then, as Gordon Soley would say, so long.